Assalamu alaikum, folks. I hope you are doing well. Today is Friday, May 30th. And today I'm going to tell you about an idea that I think may suffice to be successful in investing for the next few years. And I often say this on this channel, which is that all you need is one idea and have a deep enough conviction in that idea to hold it through thick and thin and be patient with it for you to be successful in investing and for you to beat the market many times over and hopefully achieve whatever goals you have from investing. And I know I've spoken about this topic before, but I do believe that we are, approaching the event horizon, so to speak, for uh, two main themes actually manifesting in favor of the company that I'd like to talk to you about, which is Tesla, and what that could mean for its share price moving forward. And to get an idea of the potential, I think it's informative to look at a company that experienced a similar phenomenon, which is Nvidia. Nvidia, uh, its GPUs were looked at basically as gaming hardware until it had its chat gpt moment in 2022, and all of a sudden their gpus were in massive need. There was massive demand for their gpus in data centers, and that caused their business and the market cap of the company to explode. So could we be approaching something very similar for Tesla? This is what you see on the screen is the chart for Nvidia, and the low for this company in 2022 was around $10 per share. Now we're talking about $135 per share. And this came after the ChatGPT moment, as I mentioned, and the possibilities for GPUs, which really NVIDIA was the only game in town if you needed uh, the required GPUs for large language models. And and similarly, I see a lot of parallels with Tesla. So with that being said, and speaking of ChatGPT moments, the NVIDIA CEO has mentioned that the ChatGPT moment for general robotics is just around the corner. And who do we know is the leader in general robotics? Well, in real world AI, who do we know is the only company basically that has expertise in both mass manufacturing robots, starting with cars, basically being one form factor of robots, cars with full self driving, and also artificial intelligence. And if you look at Elon Musk's biographer, he mentioned that it was likely that Tesla and XAI may even merge in the future and become one company. So, is Tesla the new Nvidia? Will it have the same type of run that Nvidia had over the last 2 years? Will Tesla have a similar run over the next 2 years? So, without further ado, let's get started. Tesla has set a date after years of waiting, has set a date for launching its Robotaxi network June 12th in Austin. It's going to start with maybe a dozen cars, and Elon Musk is going to be, and the Tesla company are going to be watching every one of those cars and making sure that bugs are fixed as they arrive whenever they are spotted, and the ramp up will be quick. As I mentioned before, they already have distribution. They already have the cars on the road, millions of them, and they already have the app on people's phones. And it's just a matter of a software update to expand from the initial batch of a dozen cars to more than that. It's just a matter of a software update, basically. So the total addressable market for something like Robotaxi, you ask different people, they give you different numbers, but Morgan Stanley recently had a report that estimated the Robotaxi total addressable market could be close to 1 trillion in the United States alone. And I actually think that is not that far off when you think about the added utility that will come from cars and people foregoing the need to buy a car in favor of just getting around using robotaxis. Not only that, obviously, Tesla is looking to integrate its humanoid robots in its factories, actually using them for production by the end of the year. And you ask different people, again, you'll get different estimates for addressable market here. But according to one city analyst, this could be close to $7 trillion market. I actually think this is really underestimating the total addressable market because they're saying in the next 25 years. I think it's going to be much quicker than that. It'll probably be in the next 10 years that we see um, it reach this type of market size. Now, if we want to sort of retrace our steps here, and this is from CERN Basher on X, if we want to retrace our steps here and look at what happened to NVIDIA's quarterly revenue, um, in um, in 2022, we were talking about something on the order of 5 billion, basically, for quarterly revenue, depending on which quarter you were talking about. And all of a sudden, 2 years later, we are closer to 50 billion in quarterly revenue. So, a massive, massive spike in quarterly revenue, and without sacrificing margins for this company. Again, they were the only game in town, kind of like Tesla's the only game in town if you want a true full self driving that is vision based. If you look at hindsight PE, and this is for all the people that argue about the valuation of Tesla and the valuation being rich, if you are to look at the price you had to pay for today's earnings, going back to let's say 2022, the price that you had to pay, and at that time, Nvidia was argued to be expensive. The PE was something close to 5. You would only pay 5 times earnings. Right now, the average S&P PE is greater than 20, and so really, when you're looking at S curves, when you're analyzing companies that you think and technologies that you think are going to follow an S curve where there's a slight appreciation, a slight acceleration to start, and then it goes parabolic. It's really detrimental for people to focus on PEs because the numbers in the future are not going to look like the numbers in the past. Again, if you look at the revenue in 2022, we were talking about something on the order of $5 billion in revenue per quarter. Now we're talking about 50 billion. So, and that was just 2022. It's only 2 years ago. So make sure you're not using traditional, PE metrics to uh, value a company, a technology that basically has a moat around the technology that you think is going to follow an S curve and address an addressable market that is in the trillions of dollars. That is people's pitfall when it comes to Tesla. And then when you look at the market capitalization, obviously it went parabolic. You're looking at between 2020, for example, and today, something like a 20x in the market cap for Nvidia. And I really do think that you could get something similar in the next 5 years, in the next 6 years for Tesla. I know I'm talking about this company a lot, but I really feel like time is running out. As I mentioned in an earlier live this week, time is running out for people to fill their bags with this particular stock. And as I mentioned, Nvidia's CEO is is anticipating a ChatGPT moment for general robotics that is just around the corner. And just around the corner is getting closer and closer by the minute. So, with that being said, let us go to question. I actually, Quiznos, I hope you remember your comment in a year's time, and you remind me of that comment because you're going to be mistaken. But obviously, you probably won't bring it up. Quiznos is saying I'm overextended in Tesla and I'm trying to justify. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Niznaz Jum'a Mubarak. Qasim Saleh says, Assalamu alaikum. What do you think of Trump media launching Bitcoin treasury strategy after closing 2.5? Private placement with institutional investors? Yeah, sounds like something sitting president shouldn't be doing. Salamat Rashad, nice to see you. Do you think we are still in a bull market with all this uncertainty? Yeah, the bull market is determined by liquidity and how it's moving, not by uncertainty. We're in a bull market that is giving us opportunities to buy. Do you think with today's bullback, it's an opportunity to buy more Bitcoin or Tesla? Yeah, I do. With the macro news, it seems like we're going to have a next bearish week. It's tough to say. Depends on the tweets that come out from the commander in chief in the next 7 days. So it's tough to say. All I know is that liquidity is rising. Still a bull market. There will be volatility induced by the macroeconomic news, but generally the direction is up. Yahya asked a good question. What would be the bear case for Tesla? I think one of the reasons why Tesla is so attractive is because it has multiple bets. Each one of them is $1 trillion opportunity, whether it's energy storage or robotaxis or humanoid robots. These are multi-trillion-dollar opportunities. So all of these would have to fail somehow, and then that would be the bear case for Tesla. But that certainly doesn't seem like the trend. Thanks, Rashad. Appreciate that. Yes, do like the live. Mr. Harun, assalamu alaikum. Love your updates as always. Thank you, Mr. Harun. Lubna, assalamu alaikum. Juma Mubarak. Thank you. I appreciate the support, and I hope everyone is positioned according to their convictions and time doesn't run out for them, because I do think that we are approaching the event horizon here for this stock. The next 2-3 years are going to be pretty interesting for Tesla. Pretty, I think, happy for Tesla holders, inshallah. So, with that being said, if you haven't become a PIF member yet, do become a PIF member to join our community, follow our portfolio updates, and leave a like on this live if you enjoyed it. Make sure to take care of yourself and enjoy your weekend. Spend time with your family and count your blessings. Until next time, make sure to take care of yourself. Assalamu alaikum and peace be upon you all.